In June of 2021, a burnt-out school teacher sat down and took a free online course about the cleaning industry. She had no clients, no equipment, no experience, just a master's degree in history, a decade in the classroom, and a quiet belief that there had to be a better path to financial freedom than waiting on a paycheck. 6 months later, she and her sister launched Oak Bay Clean. 3 years after that, they crossed 1.7 million in revenue. But here's what makes Victoria's Westcott story different. It wasn't built by undercutting competitors or grinding her workers into the ground. She did the opposite. She built a company where the cleaners are the VIPs, where they keep 60% of every job, where they get paid daily, where the hiring process is so rigorous that only the best make it through. She charges premium prices, dominates Google in her market, and has over 200 5-star reviews to back it up. And I am so excited to welcome her to the show today. So Victoria, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. Love your background. I'm excited to have you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
It's going to be so good. And before we dive into that, let's lay the baseline for our audience. What do you do in the simplest terms?
Wow. In the simplest terms. Okay. We offer online booking with transparent pricing, which, believe it or not, is radically new for this industry. I was shocked when I discovered it myself, but having online booking, transparent pricing, and then on top of that, we have transparent pay for the cleaners. So all of our cleaners earn the same rates. It doesn't matter if they're fast, if they're slow. We just care about quality, and that reduces the stress on the cleaners, giving us better quality cleaning in the end.
That was perfect. And then for the scale of the operation, what are you guys doing in revenue, reoccurring, 2025, however you want to tackle it?
Yeah, so we have 81% recurring revenue at this point. For 2026, we're on track for about $800K this year in revenue, which is awesome. Of course, 60% of that goes directly to the cleaners, and we operate at about 28 to 30% profit margins for my sister and I.
This is such a serious business, and we're going to dive in how someone can do something similar to that. But let's start with your origin story. Take us back to being a school teacher, a burnt out school teacher, and like coming across this as a business. Let's hear the origin story.
Yeah, that's such a great question, and I'll try to keep it brief. My sister and I are actually filmmakers first. So we have a movie on Netflix called Elliot the Littlest Reindeer that Jen is a writer-director of. I was a school teacher. She's actually the one with the history master's degree, by the way, and I do the school teaching. But what we found was that in 2021, filmmaking wasn't paying the bills. I returned to the classroom after 15 years of not being in it. So hence the burnout, because I was teaching online in the pandemic. Did that for about 6 months. And then my sister called me and said, hey, there's no money coming in from film right now. I'm in the middle of a divorce with my husband of the last 20 years. And I found this thread on Twitter. I think we should start a cleaning company. Will you do it with me? And I was like, what? You found some dude on Twitter? Like, what? And she's like, hey, we made movies and they had stars in them. So I think we can do this. And I'm like, all right. And so we did it. And here we are.
Here we are, I guess, indeed. But like, okay, so she gives you the phone call and you're like, okay, like what? Like, what the heck is this? But you decided to pursue it, or like, was it like a same day decision? Like, I'm going to go do this, or what did that look like?
No, so it was like a 21-day Zoom course that was free. And I, like everyone else, is thinking it's free. What's the catch? There's always a catch. And by day 3, the catch was sign up for the software. It's called Convert Labs. And if you use that software, then you continue to get the course for free. And the software cost $197 a month. And it's your website, your booking system, your scheduling. Like, it's literally everything. And we were like, that's it? Like, where's the $10,000 upsell? You know, we're so used to that, right? And there wasn't one. And so by that point, we're like, all right, well, let's just do it. It's $200. What can we lose? And that was, you know, for my sister and for me at that time, that was enough. Like, we didn't have $10,000 to give to some coach to teach us. And so we tried it, and we reached out to realtors. That was our first approach. We went after 20 realtors a day. We wrote personal emails directly to the realtors. So we weren't spamming them. We would figure out what their listing was. What are they trying to sell? And we just reach out and say, hey, we're local. We're reliable. We get the job done. We get it. We guarantee the clean. Would you give us a try? And then we gave them a discount code for 15% off. And we have a lot of realtors still with us to this day.
That is so crazy. Okay, so you go through this 21-day program or whatnot. You start emailing like realtors. Like, how long did it take you to like land that first client from like the emails and stuff? I love like the startup like mentality of this and like the grit and grind of it.
Well, actually, our very first client, and we learned this in the course, is to fill out your Yelp profile totally. And most people who start businesses, they have a Yelp profile, but they don't actually fill in every character. And what we learned was fill out basically keyword stuff without making it keyword stuffing, right? And so we filled out our Yelp profiles. We added the photos. We did before and after pictures of my sister's kitchen. She would dirty it up and then she'd clean it, and take before and after pictures.
That's awesome.
And so our very first client came from the Yelp profile. And the funny thing there, if Canadians are listening to this, we really don't use Yelp like Americans do. It is a thing, but it's more of like, it's just not as popular as it is in the US. And we were shocked. Like, we only did it because what we learned was if you get on Yelp, it will push to Google on the first page of Google right away. And it'll show up in the little like top 3 cleaning businesses because Yelp is pushing you because they want your money. And Google trusts Yelp. So therefore, the first phone call we get was somebody looking at Yelp going, I need a cleaner today. And the other thing that we learned was 70% of cleaning companies don't answer the phone when it rings. They just send it straight to voicemail. And if you leave a voicemail, only 30% actually call you back. And so we tested that. We called 10 cleaning companies in our city. And in our city, only 2 called us back. We didn't get a single one to answer the phone.
Crazy.
None of them had online booking, which is nuts. And so when we get the first Yelp phone call, we're freaking out because we don't have a cleaner yet. We're like, what? Our phone's ringing. And we answer it and we say, yeah, for sure, we can help. And it happened to be a realtor, which was, just a funny coincidence. Then our email campaigns to the realtors, I would say that took about 3 to 5 days to get our first booking. And again, it's just saying yes.
I want to go to the phone call in specific. What's like going through your mind as like you're getting this? Because I feel like when I launched my business, we got our first client within like a month and a half of doing email campaigns. And like, I remember them signing like a $7,000 contract. I was literally sprinting around my apartment. Like, oh my gosh, this is like the best day of my life. Like, what was it like for you when like you were getting that phone call?
Okay, so the client called. First off, you have to understand my sister is a writer-director first. So she is very much an introvert. She's not a salesperson.
Oh, yeah.
I think teaching is a lot like selling. I've always been relatively comfortable with selling things because, teaching is the same thing. You're just trying to convince kids to buy into whatever the lesson is. And so when the phone rang, I, of course, answered it. And I'm like, and they're like, oh, good, you answered the phone. I'm like, yeah, hi. Victoria from Oak Bay Clean. How you doing? How can I help? And the client's like, okay, listen, I'm a realtor and I have this client that is a nightmare. I cannot wait to go on vacation. She's just moved into her place. She thinks it's awful. I need your help. Can you clean it? And I'm like, absolutely. No problem. How's Wednesday? Like maybe it was Sunday or Monday or something. And she's like, oh, yes, that's good. I'm like, okay, we got you. That's the only spot we have. And I'm totally lying because I don't have any cleaners. But I'm thinking I'm going to be able to get a cleaner by the time, so I had to give myself like a couple of days. But you also have to understand, so I used to be a school teacher in London, England, and I started a recruiting business when I was there. So I used to recruit school teachers for teaching in inner city schools. So recruiting is also not that hard for me. So I have to disclose that because I know it's hard for a lot of people. But for me, I know finding good people isn't that hard. And so when she said, can you do it? I'm like, absolutely. Then I get off the phone. I post an ad on Indeed. I've always used Indeed. It's the largest job site in the world. So I just use what I know. I post an ad and then I get an email. This is the sweetest thing. I got an email from a cleaner and she's from Kazakhstan. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but she lives here in Canada. And she writes the sweetest letter. And she says, I know you won't regret hiring me. Please give me a chance. I've just moved here and I worked in another city in our province and I've worked for realtors before, helping them prepare their homes for listing. Give me a chance. And I show it to my sister. My sister's a single mom. This woman's a single mom. She's got 7 kids.
Wow.
And my sister sees it and she's like, she's hired. And I'm like, okay, we're going to check her references. We're going to do her due diligence. So I do all of that. I talk to the realtor in the other city that she worked for and they love her. She's still with us to this day.
Wow, that is incredible.
Are you ready to launch, grow, and scale a business? Inside the UpFlip Academy, you'll get a complete roadmap to shortcut your success with 25 plus step-by-step programs taught by active business owners, not gurus, who share their step-by-step blueprints, plus ongoing live workshops, skills training, a business idea database, and community to share resources and celebrate your wins. Click the link in the description below to join the UpFlip Academy today and start surrounding yourself with the people and tools that can change everything for your business.
I'm curious, what did you price like that first project at? Like, how did you know like what to price? Was it through that course or like, did you know?
Okay. So here's the magic formula for pricing. Remember how I told you we called 10 cleaning companies in our city? What we were doing two things. One, do they answer the phone? Two, do they have online booking? And then actually three things, sorry. The third thing was, how much is it? So we looked at the average size home in our city, which is about 2,000 square feet, 2 bathrooms. How much would it be for a one-time clean, biweekly, monthly, weekly? We just act like a normal person asking those questions, right? So I just fake my way through it. Figure it out, we create a spreadsheet, and then we are at 80% of their pricing. So we don't want to be too cheap. We don't want to be the most expensive. We want to be just 20% less than the most expensive. So that's how we did everything. And so if you start with like your average, then you can work, what's smaller, what's more, da, da, da. And the way that I tell people now about pricing is it's an always changing thing. It's the most stressful part when you're starting out because you're worried you're going to be too expensive, too cheap, blah, blah, blah. The other lesson I say is 1 of 10 people calling you should say you're too expensive. That's when you know you're in the sweet spot. So if you are getting 10 people out of 10 people saying you're too expensive, believe them. But if 90% of people are like, yeah, okay, you're great. That's perfect. And so we're about that now.
Wait, so are you guys still about 20% lower than competition?
I haven't done that test in a few years. I actually think we need to raise our prices again. It's just, since 2021 to 2026, like look at your gas prices, look at your grocery prices. Like right now we're so busy. We have 18 cleaners on our team. We have I think we're at about 125 recurring clients. And then, 19% are one-time cleans. And so I'm having to block off our calendar online because we're so busy that we just don't have the same availability we used to have. Like before we were, look, we'll serve you. Now we're like, we prefer biweekly, we prefer weeklies, and we can make that choice, which is lovely.
Yeah. So I want to talk to the audience that is interested in doing something here. Like what you know now of pricing, would you still recommend them to be 20% cheaper when they're just getting started in the market? Is that still your advice to people?
Absolutely. Calling those 10 cleaning companies in your city is so helpful. And then the other piece of advice, and it's the scariest thing, like especially for millennials, like you guys don't pick up the phone. Like you're so scared of picking up the phone, but your first clients are going to be calling you. So you kind of have to just get over that and pick up the phone and make the call. They're probably not going to answer anyway. So if they do answer, just pretend to be a client. And then the next piece of that is write down the prices. If they have online booking, amazing. Now we can use AI and we can do deep research. I love AI. Well, it's a love-hate relationship. I love AI for this stuff. And you can do deep research on the market prices in your city. So if you are truly petrified and cannot answer the phone and cannot pick up the phone, then use AI, do the deep research and ask it, what are the most common rates in my city?
Let's talk about that workflow. What does that workflow look like for the audience?
For the audience, so depending on if you're using, it doesn't really matter. If you're using ChatGPT or you're using Claude, there's always a deep research button. And you press that and you ask it, do market research on my city. I'm looking at starting a cleaning company. We focus on residential instead of office cleaning, and I can speak to that as well as to why. But our market is very much the residential market. So we would define that. I would also define who your ideal client is. And I'll tell you who mine is. We've named them Jordan. My AI named it that. And Jordan is very busy, a working professional, earns between 130 and 200 grand a year, combined income or solo income, has kids, and maybe a dog. They work full time, they have busy social lives, and they do not want to be cleaning. All of those things matter. Why? Because we don't want micromanagers. Jordan doesn't have time, nor does Jordan want to micromanage their cleaners. They just want the answer to their problem, which is they don't want to be cleaning in their free time. So Jordan books online. Jordan values cleaners that get it done. Jordan doesn't want to be having to give them a list every time. They just don't have time for that. Whereas Nancy is our opposite persona. Nancy is high maintenance, low reward. Poor Nancy's out there. I apologize to them if they're listening. It's like Karen.
Yeah, that's what I thought of.
Sorry. She's not necessarily a Karen, but here's the thing with Nancy. Nancy is usually retired or semi-retired, bought her house 20, 30 years ago for pennies, house rich, cash poor, has all the time in the world, and has been cleaning the house herself her entire life for free. And so she resents having to pay someone else to do it, and then resents that they don't do it the way she wants them to. Nancy is high maintenance, extremely low reward. She's the one that your millennial cleaners, because they're mostly millennial and Gen Z, right? Generations matter here. So millennial and Gen Zs, they don't want to be going into Nancy's home because Nancy and them, they're going to fight. They just don't see the world in the same way. Now, here's the thing. So I don't want to sound like I'm just like an ageist, horrible person that's against retirees. That's not it. All of the other cleaning businesses are built for Nancy. Every single cleaning business in our city tailors their model for Nancy. So Nancy likes hourly payments. She wants to pay by the hour, and she wants to track what they're doing in that time. She sees herself as the manager of the cleaner. Whereas Jordan books by the job, which means she pays her set price. She doesn't care how long it takes. Like, just do your job. Great. Get out of my hair. Just do it. So we have by the job pricing.
I love the ICP, and listeners, you guys should actually go back because that's actually like not a takeaway we have a lot on the UpFlip podcast is like build out an ICP of like what you want. It sounds so like intuitive, but that is great. I want to ask specifically about Jordan, and the specific metric I guess I want to ask about is his or her income, 130K to 200K. Why is it specifically that? I get the 130K, but why is it capped at 200K is more my question.
Great question. So it was actually my AI that defined that. So I am taking a guess here, but I will tell you, we have billionaires that we have worked with before in our city, and they're great. When we work with billionaires, it tends to be a post-construction project, and it's, a summer project. So they're building a second or third or fourth house, which is great. We don't clean on a weekly or bi-weekly basis with billionaires. Why not? Because they have in-house staff. And that's not our model, right? We could do it, but we'd be changing the model. And the other thing that I'm always coaching people now is don't change your business model for one client nor for one cleaner, okay? And we had that. We had an amazing billionaire that lives in our city. Great guy. He's very well known. There's only so many on this planet. And he hired us for, I think it was 3 times a week for a summer. And by September, he had let us go because he wanted a non-English speaking cleaner because he was worried about his IP. And that's fair.
No way.
And it's a small city. We live in a city, there's only 400,000 people, 500,000 in the summer. And he was like, everybody talks. And I'm like, actually, it's true. I know a lot about his personal life just because of what the cleaners told me. So I'm like, yep, you're right. We sign NDAs, like we did all of it, but they're human. They gossip. They just do. So it's totally fair.
That's interesting. Okay, so I love building out like the ICP. And so you identified like the Jordans like you want to go after. You're not going to go after the Nancys. How do you then get clients like the Jordans? How are you guys like acquiring clients today? And what advice would you give?
I love that. So in the beginning, I told you we went for realtors first. We filled out our Yelp profile. We also filled out our Google My Business profile. And the first year we invested heavily into Google ads. At the same time, we followed a guy on YouTube called Hey Tony. His actual name is Matt, but Hey Tony is his channel. And he teaches local service businesses. It's because it's his marketing agency. He teaches local service businesses how to use SEO to get found on Google. So now I teach other people how to do that. And the reason is Jordan is smart. Jordan's like you and me. They skim over the ads. Like, when was the last time you actually clicked the first ad that showed up?
It's probably been a while. I will say I do love ads. I love looking at ads, but I get what you're saying. For the sake of this, never. I can't remember the last time I did.
You wouldn't, right? You would look for the best. And by looking for the best, you're looking at their reviews. You're looking at, that's just how we're like wired, especially our age groups, that have grown up with the internet. We know how to skip over the blue ads. But in the first year, we did advertise. We did both Google pay per click and we did Google local services. Both are great. Both are fine. But it's a lot of filtering for Nancy. Nancy definitely clicks on the ads, whereas Jordan doesn't. And so now we're all in on SEO. We spend zero on marketing. Well, I shouldn't say zero. We give our cleaners a $25 bonus every time they get a 5-star review. The client doesn't need to mention their name. I just track it. I go, oh, hey, you just got a 5-star review. Amazing. Here's $25. I'd rather invest in the cleaners than into Google at this stage.
Oh, that's really interesting. So all of it's coming through SEO. So do you guys have like an SEO agency? And you don't have to spill the name, obviously. Like, how are you like dominating SEO then?
Okay, so I'm going to give you my magic formula for naming your company. So it starts with naming.
Okay.
Our company name is Oak Bay Clean. Oak Bay is the bougie part of our city. Anybody who lives in this city knows that's the bougie part of this city. Outside of the city, you'd have no idea, but it sounds bougie. Then if you look at our website, our branding and marketing is very clean. It is designed from the get-go for Jordan. The Oak Bay Clean part, here's the formula. Location plus keywords equals your name. So this is like when I grew up in the yellow pages, you would call your business AA Cleaning because you would show up first, right? In the cleaning industry, you will be shocked at how many cleaning companies have names like Sparkle Cleaning Solutions with cleaning is spelled with a K. And you're like, that's really dumb. And so we've started coaching other people how to do this. And the ones that use this formula show up on Google so much faster than everyone else. The bar is so low in this space. That's why I love this industry.
Yeah, it's so great. So you guys aren't doing blogs or like anything that too optimized for it. It's really just like this formula, like maybe a little bit, but.
A little bit. We did blogs probably year 2 and 3 we were blogging. But here's the thing. Jordan doesn't read blogs. And so it was just for SEO. So we kind of hid it, down at the bottom of the page. Like we didn't really want people to actually read it because the worst thing is somebody who reads like how they clean, like, ugh. And so we did everything just about how to book a cleaner in your city. And then the next thing is we use an app called Nice Job, which integrates with ConvertLabs, our software. And every single time I hit charge card, that triggers the routine where the client then gets asked 7 times in 7 different ways if they'd leave a review. So everything is about getting the reviews, right? Google cares about reviews.
Yeah, I mean, when I Google, you have 246 Google reviews and 4.9, which is just an incredible testimony to like providing a great service.
And they're real. And here's why they're real. Because I know people go out and they're like, I'll just get 100 friends. Well, first off, Google will shut down your account faster than you can blink. And the second thing in that is that Jordan, your ideal client, can tell. And we live in a small enough city that Jordan actually knows people. They see their friends, and so they're like, oh, that's my friend. And then they book. And those realtors that we first contacted, they're all in there. The realtors all know each other. So the reviews are number one in our strategy. And then because of, we get backlinks and everything's organic. Like none of it's fake. I can't stand the fake stuff because I can spot it a mile away. So I'm just going to assume my client's smart too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like, it does speak to like the Jordan, especially if they're making, I don't want to generalize, but if you're making 130, 200K, you'll be able to identify that. That's the right way to say it.
You can identify it. You can spot BS a mile away. And it's not to say that all of this is easy. It's not. Like our first year, we spent $14,000 on lead generation. But by year 2, we were able to say, okay, we're going to go all in on SEO. And we were scared, as anybody would be. Like, you don't know, is this going to work or not? But what we found was we were getting better quality leads, like much better quality leads by focusing on reviews, getting the right cleaners. That was it.
That's what I think speaks to entrepreneurship, though, is like a lot of times you do stuff and like you really have no idea if it's going to work out. You're just kind of like going against, you have really no idea. But like, as you said, you're able to identify, you're at least getting like quality leads. But like, that truly is the entrepreneurial mindset. Like a lot of times you'll do something and it's like, I really don't know if this is going to work out, but like, oh, geez, I sure hope it does.
And if it doesn't, in our case, it was $200, like whatever, right? Like it wasn't, that first month anyway. And then when I say we spent 14 grand in a year, that wasn't all in one go. We didn't have 14 grand, right? So we invested maybe 200 in Google ads our first month when we had 200 to spend. So I do want to be clear there because anyone can start these businesses. That's why I love them so much. Whether you have a full-time job, whether you have kids, whether you're, in the middle of a messy divorce, like all of those things, you can absolutely start one of these on the side. The key is to do it the smart way. And that's why we teach the naming convention, the online booking, transparent pricing. And then let's talk about the cleaners. So the reason we pay 60%, first off, transparency is a game changer. So if you think about the last time you applied for a job, have you applied for jobs, Ryan? Or have you always been an entrepreneur?
I basically have always been an entrepreneur, but the past like 4 years I have been, but no, I know what you're going for.
You know what I'm going to say, right? There'll be like a pay range. Maybe they'll have a pay
that's
range
the
published.
worst.
It's the worst. And in Canada, in Ontario, they've recently changed the laws that you cannot post a job ad without an actual pay range. And it has to be a true pay range. And the reason for this has to do with gender. And I find this fascinating. So, women get paid traditionally less than men. And everybody's like, what? How does that still happen? Well, it happens from the interview because women don't advocate for themselves and argue, I deserve more pay. That's really uncomfortable for us. The solution is, this is what it pays. So I love 60% pay just from that gender piece. But then we add on, Black, Indigenous, people of color, queer, add all of those things on. And now we have a truly equitable, equal, is that the word? Whatever the word is. It's the right thing to do. From a cleaning point of view, they've never had this before. They're traditionally underpaid, undervalued, not respected. The average rate of pay in our city is $20 to $24 an hour. $20 to $24 an hour to spend your time cleaning someone's toilet. That is awful. And when I run the math, because we pay 60%, we do by the job pricing, our average hourly rate is $45 an hour.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Now that's actually changing lives. So, I told you about our first cleaner who's still with us with 7 kids. She can feed her kids. She can clothe her kids. She can, get them to school. She just texted me an hour ago to say, hey, one of my kids has a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. No problem. I replaced her. She's an independent contractor, so she is paying her own taxes, but she's earning so much more than she would if she was out there on her own.
Yeah. I mean, $40 an hour equates to about $80K a year, which is a very good salary for cleaning. Obviously, it's not perfect math there, but it's a rough range, which is obviously insane. So 60-40, I mean, obviously, I'm hearing, you guys almost pay 100% more than what other companies pay.
But you can see it in our reviews.
Yeah, but it's like, has that ever put you in a financial crunch is what I'm asking? I mean, you shared your margins early on, but when I hear that, it's some of these cleaning companies have to be at crazy margins.
I'm so happy you asked that. So I mentioned before, we focus on residential. And the reason is that I don't love commercial cleaning as an industry right now because it is stuck in the 90s. It is still invoicing and then net 30 days. And what that means for cleaning is, so today's April 20th. I could have a commercial client where I've had them since April 1st and I bill them April 30th. Well, we don't get paid until May 31st, which means my cleaners have to wait almost 2 months from their first day to get paid, or we have to eat it and pay them. Now, with residential cleaning, we use Stripe, so it's online payments. They put down their Visa, MasterCard, or Amex, and a hold goes on their card the day before. So we make sure that their funds are actually going to clear. The cleaner checks in, does the job, checks out. I hit charge card. Now, 3 days later, that money appears in our bank account. I don't wait those 3 days. I pay the cleaner today. So we pay daily. That's another thing for the cleaners. They love getting paid every day. So I'm not waiting 60 days to pay that cleaner. That's the worst. Commercial cleaning tends to have, these huge contracts. And so it looks like really good money, but the margins are much, much less. Whereas our margins are so much better.
I want to ask, as we kind of wind down this podcast, an important question that I need to be asked, I should ask earlier is, where do you find this talent? Is it still Indeed and then you're posting 60-40 pricing? Where are you actually sourcing your talent from?
Yeah, that's great. So we hire, so again, magic formula. I have so many magic formulas. So
a lot of magic formulas.
I love our magic formulas. So our sweet spot is to take 2 to 3 bookings a day. And that's the average. Some days we'll get 10 bookings. Some days we'll get no bookings. But 2 to 3 a day average is the sweet spot for my own sanity. And then for hiring, we hire 1 to 2 cleaners a month. We could hire a lot more. We could accept a lot more bookings at this stage. But I like life-work balance. I only work on this business about an hour or 2 a day. So yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know. That's why I want everybody to do it. Because I'm man, I can't believe I was teaching full time at a cap salary, putting everything into it. And now I go to the gym in the middle of the day. I work on my other projects. And I can do these podcasts. It's so fun for me. Nothing's happening. My phone's beside me. Cleaners are out. It's fine. So for cleaners, I only add 1 to 2 a month because they need a lot of hand holding the first few months. And I just don't have capacity to hold their hand all the time to get them comfortable. Instead, what I do is I try to partner them with other cleaners in the beginning so that those other cleaners can help them feel more comfortable. We do a lot of onboarding. We do a lot of support because they're human. You're always nervous your first few weeks on a job. We want to make them feel good, but I can't do much more than that. My process is I post on Indeed, always on a Monday morning, always for 9 a.m. And the thinking for that is serious people have had a weekend and now they're ready to work. So by Monday morning, first thing they do, they start job hunting. So my best quality cleaners always come on a Monday. I shut down the ad by the time I get about 20 applications, which for me in my location, that can cost between $100 and $200. Then I go through all the applications. 90% of them aren't the right fit. They don't have cleaning experience. They just think, oh, I can be a cleaner, whatever. And I don't publish the 60% ratio there because that's too confusing for them. So I'll do the range and I'll say 28 to 45 an hour or 28 to 35 an hour. And the reason I say 28, they'd have to be really slow to only earn 28. I still put that in there because I know they're cynical and I know they're like me and they're like, there's no way you're paying that much if everybody else is paying 22. So it's a little bit more to make them be like, oh, that's better than the other ones. And then I text them and I write, hey, it's Victoria from Oak Bay Clean. Do you have 10 minutes today to talk about what you're looking for? And if you take nothing else from this podcast, what you're looking for is the most important piece of that. And then when I get them on the phone, I say, hey, I'd love to know more about what you're looking for. And they've never been asked that before. Like, isn't that wild? They never get asked that. It's all about me. What do I want as the employer? And I flip that by saying, what do you want? And then they answer. And then they usually tell me about their last terrible company they worked for, and it's not that I'm looking for negative, I'm looking for honesty. Do you have kids? Are you having to work around their schedule? Great. We love that. And so we just guide them through that conversation so I can get to what's going to make this person great at their job.
So crazy. It's so interesting. Yeah. This has been such a good podcast. This is Victoria. This has been phenomenal. I unfortunately do have to cut us off here around the 35-minute mark, but this has been so good. Yeah, this has been incredible. Let's dive into our Fan Blitz questions. And these are questions submitted from our community. Listeners, if you want to join in on world-class conversations like these, email us at podcast@upflip.com and we'll get your questions submitted there. Victoria, ready for our last 5 here?
Go for it.
What's a task that you do every week that most business owners would be embarrassed to admit they skip?
The gym every day.
I like it. Cleaners or clients? If you could only keep one, who are you choosing and why?
Cleaners, hands down. And why? Because they're harder to get than clients.
I like it. What's the one piece of advice you give to your sister, Jen, if she were starting from scratch tomorrow?
Calm down. Just do it.
I like it. Fill in the blank. If you're not willing to blank, you have no business starting a business.
Get uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. I will double down on that. Last one. You're a big The War of Art fan, the book. What's a book that everyone should read besides that one?
Indistractable or Hooked by Nir Eyal. Those are both books, same author, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Taught me how to time block. So I time block my day, which is how I can do so many different things in a short amount of time.
Victoria, this has been amazing. I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. If someone's like, oh my gosh, I need to learn from Victoria, check her out, where can they connect with you?
Cleaning Company Blueprint is the best spot. So we have a YouTube channel of that same name, Cleaning Company Blueprint. And you can also book a discovery call with me, cleaningcompany.blueprint.com.
Everyone, that was an amazing episode with Victoria. 3 quick takeaways for you. Number 1, get pricing through the competition. Just simply call them and ask what their rates are. And then once you have it, deduct 20% from that. And that is your starting price. Number 2, one of my favorite takeaways we've had on this podcast is build out the ICP. She had a super detailed ICP for Jason, and she also built it out what it looks like for Nancy, and you want to avoid Nancy. That was one of my absolute favorite takeaways of that. Then the SEO play, location plus keyword. That is what you're going for easy SEO results. Really great episode here. If you guys are enjoying this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast. Helps to get more amazing entrepreneurs like Victoria onto the show, and we will see you next Monday. Thank you. You're the best, Victoria.
Thanks, Ryan.